I thought I was learning to live, I was only learning to die. Time stays long enough for those who use it. All our knowledge has its origin in our perceptions. Nothing strengthens authority so much as silence. I love those who can smile in trouble. The noblest pleasure is the joy of understanding. Nothing can be loved or hated unless it is first understood. Once you have tasted flight, you will forever walk the earth with your eyes turned skyward, for there you have been, and there you will always long to return. Study without desire spoils the memory, and it retains nothing that it takes in. It had long since come to my attention that people of accomplishment rarely sat back and let things happen to them. They went out and happened to things. One can have no smaller or greater mastery than mastery of oneself. I have from an early age abjured the use of meat, and the time will come when men such as I will look upon the murder of animals as they now look upon the murder of men. As a well-spent day brings happy sleep, so life well used brings happy death. If you are alone you belong entirely to yourself. If you are accompanied by even one companion you belong only half to yourself or even less in proportion to the thoughtlessness of his conduct, and if you have more than one companion you will fall more deeply into the same plight. The knowledge of all things is possible. Learning never exhausts the mind. There are three classes of people: those who see, those who see when they are shown, those who do not see. I have been impressed with the urgency of doing. Knowing is not enough, we must apply. Being willing is not enough, we must do. Develop your senses, especially learn how to see. Realize that everything connects to everything else. It is easier to resist at the beginning than at the end. The greatest deception men suffer is from their own opinions. The deeper the feeling, the greater the pain. As you cannot do what you want what you can do. One has no right to love or hate anything if one has not acquired a thorough knowledge of its nature. Great love springs from great knowledge of the beloved object, and if you know it but little you will be able to love it only a little or not at all. Every now and then go away, have a little relaxation, for when you come back to your work your judgment will be surer. Go some distance away because then the work appears smaller and more of it can be taken in at a glance, and a lack of harmony and proportion is more readily seen. You will never have a greater or lesser dominion than that over yourself. The height of a man's success is gauged by his self-mastery. The depth of his failure by his self-abandonment. And this law is the expression of eternal justice. He who cannot establish dominion over himself will have no dominion over others. Life without love is no life at all. Learn how to see. Realize that everything connects to everything else. An average human looks without seeing, listens without hearing, touches without feeling, eats without tasting, moves without physical awareness, inhales without awareness of odor or fragrance, and talks without thinking. Make your work to be in keeping with your purpose. Intellectual passion drives out sensuality. Where the spirit does not work with the hand, there is no art. Patience serves as a protection against wrongs as clothes do against cold. For if you put on more clothes as the cold increases, it will have no power to hurt you. So in like manner you must grow in patience when you meet with great wrongs, and they will then be powerless to vex your mind. All sciences are vain and full of errors that are not born of experience, the mother of all knowledge. Wisdom is the daughter of experience. A poet knows he has achieved perfection not when there is nothing left to add, but when there is nothing left to take away. I awoke only to find that the rest of the world was still asleep. Learning is the only thing the mind never exhausts, never fears, and never regrets. Once you have tasted the taste of sky, you will forever look up. He who loves practice without theory is like the sailor who boards ship without a rudder and compass and never knows where he may cast. Blinding ignorance does mislead us. Oh! Wretched mortals, open your eyes. He who possesses most must be most afraid of loss. He who does not oppose evil, commands it to be done. Simplicity is the ultimate sophistication. As a well-spent day brings happy sleep, so a life well spent brings happy death. Obstacles cannot crush me. In rivers, the water that you touch is the last of what has passed and the first of that which comes, so, with present time. Art is the queen of all sciences, communicating knowledge to all the generations of the world. Why does the eye see more clearly when asleep than the imagination when awake? Details make perfection, and perfection is not a detail. Anyone who conducts an argument by appealing to authority is not using his intelligence, he is just using his memory. The acquisition of knowledge is always of use to the intellect, because it may thus drive out useless things and retain the good. For nothing can be loved or hated unless it is first known. As every divided kingdom falls, so every mind divided between many studies confounds and saps itself. Truth at last cannot be hidden. Dissimulation is of no avail. Dissimulation is to no purpose before so great a judge. Falsehood puts on a mask. Nothing is hidden under the sun. Many have made a trade of delusions and false miracles, deceiving the stupid multitudes. The mind that engages in subjects of too great variety becomes confused and weakened. While human ingenuity may devise various inventions to the same ends, it will never devise anything more beautiful, nor more simple, nor more to the purpose than nature does. Because in her inventions nothing is lacking and nothing is superfluous. If you find from your own experience that something is a fact and it contradicts what some authority has written down, then you must abandon the authority and base your reasoning on your own findings. The worst evil which can befall the artist is that his work should appear good in his own eyes. Truly man is the king of beasts, for his brutality exceeds them. We live by the death of others. We are burial places. Man has much power of discourse which for the most part is vain and false, animals have but little, but it is useful and true, and a small truth is better than a great lie. People of accomplishment rarely sat back and let things happen to them. They went out and made things happen. And you who wish to represent by words the form of man and all the aspects of his membrification, relinquish that idea. For the more minutely you describe, the more you will confine the mind of the reader, and the more you will keep him from the knowledge of the thing described. And so it is necessary to draw and to describe. All our knowledge has its origins in our perceptions. In nature there is no effect without a cause. Experience never errs, it is only your judgments that err by promising themselves effects such as are not caused by your experiments. Science is the observation of things possible, whether present or past. Prescience is the knowledge of things which may come to pass. If the painter has clumsy hands, he will be apt to introduce them into his works, and so of any other part of his person, which may not happen to be so beautiful as it ought to be. He must, therefore, guard particularly against that self-love, or too good opinion of his own person, and study by every means to acquire the knowledge of what is most beautiful, and of his own defects, that he may adopt the one and avoid the other. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel.